The essential question for today's lesson is, how can adding integers be used to represent real life? So we always want to make sure that we are linking math back to the real world. The vocabulary terms we'll be looking at are integers, positive numbers, and negative numbers. So in the first main idea at the top of your notes, we have this concept that when we want to represent whole values that are positive or negative, we use numbers called integers. And in your notes, you'll notice that there is a blank spot there for you to fill in the word integers. Now, integers, we're going to describe them using the number line. Go ahead and draw a number line. And if you notice, my notes are color-coded. So integers are in gold, and so is the number line. All of these whole steps represent integers. Okay? For example, 1 is an example of an integer because it is a whole step. So yes, that's an integer. Okay? -2, that's 2 whole steps backwards. So that's also an integer. They have to be whole values. Now, you want to think of something that may not be an integer. Right here, this is a piece of a number. If you think about money, it's like a whole dollar amount plus some change. So say this is around 3.4. Is that an integer? No, it is not, because it is not a whole step. It's dollars and cents. Integers will be just the whole dollars, whether they're positive or negative. So this is not an integer, 3.4. And you always want to take notes, not on just what you see from the slides, but the things that I'm explaining. You should always jot notes down on your paper, so you're getting everything recorded that's important. Okay? So integers are the whole steps. The pieces of steps would not be counted as an integer. The next main idea is to fill in that blank. We use positive integers in real life. In this case, I'm going to be talking about money, because everybody loves them some money. We use positive integers to represent money that we have or earn. So if you earn money, think about that. Is that a positive thing? Yes, it is, because that's more money in your pocket and your wealth increases. On the number line, all the positive integers are going to be those numbers to the right of 0. So go ahead and draw an arrow starting at 0 and going to the right.
Positive numbers can be written with a positive sign in front or without. For example, +3 or just 3.
So when we think of positive numbers, remember, if there's no symbol in front, we automatically assume that is a positive integer. And throughout my notes, you might see my face pop up and give you some different little tidbits and help. Those also you can record in your notes. So if positive integers represents money that you have or money that you earn or get, you might be able to guess that negative integers would represent the opposite of that. So let's fill in the last blank for the third main idea. We use negative integers to represent money we owe or spend. So that's the opposite. The opposite of having money is owing someone money. The opposite of earning money is spending it. So when I go to the store and I pay $4 for like some chips and some juice, did my money go up or down? Well, I spent the money, so my money went down. So that would be represented by negatives. So go ahead and draw that final number line, and negative integers would be to the left of 0. So draw a shaded arrow going to the left. So those are the two basic concepts that you need. If it's positive, that means you have money. If it's negative, that means you owe money. A word for that would be the word debt. Right? If you are in debt, then you owe money to someone. You can't really count that money as yours because you owe it to someone else, so really it belongs to them. It's a negative thing for you. Okay? Go ahead and flip the notes onto the back and we'll finish up the last slide. On the back, you would write same sign versus different sign in your notes. Notice there's no fill in the blanks here, so that means you're going to have to take notes the way you normally would. So let's think about things in the real world that have the same sign. So when you owe, say I owe Sarah, and then I owe Jesse. That means I owe two people money. Well, owing is a negative thing, so owing Sarah is negative, and owing Jesse is negative. That's an example of something in real life where you owe and owe. Another example of same sign is when you have. Okay? So say I have $10 from a friend, and then I have $5 from another friend. That's an example of two positive numbers. I have and I have. Owe would be like I owe a friend $7 and I owe somebody else $6. These are examples of same sign. I either owe or I have. So those are examples of same sign. And when you do that, you have different rules and things that happen in real life. So think about this. If I owe someone $7 and I owe another person $6, do I owe more money or do I owe less? So think about it. If I owe 7, I owe 6. Altogether, that means I owe how much? 13. I end up owing more. Okay? On the other side, if I have $10 from one person and I have $5 from another person, I end up having more. Okay? So when it's the same sign, that always gives you more. It either gives you more debt, right? You owe more money, or it gives you more money in your pocket, that's a good thing, right? So same sign is always going to give you more of something. It's either going to give you more negatives or more debt, or it's going to give you more positive money in your pocket. Okay? That's why they have that rule. Same sign, you add up the things. But we're going to use common sense. We don't use rules here so much. We use common sense because the rules confuse us. Common sense will really help. So let's look at some examples, and we'll go through this very quickly because I'm running out of time. This is an example of owe. So I owe $3 and I owe $6. So if I think about that story, I owe one friend $3 and I owe another friend $6. Altogether, do I owe money or have money? Well, since I owe two people, that means I owe money altogether. And I'm going to owe more, right? I owe 3 and I owe 6, that means I owe a friend $9. Or friends $9. You don't have to think about that. That's just common sense. If you owe two people, one 3 and another 6, then you owe $9 altogether. Well, if we go back to the other page of the notes, owing money we know is a negative thing, and 9 is the value that we owe. So I owe $9. That's how you would translate that. Thus, -3 plus -6 is equal to -9. Owe 3, owe 6 means I owe $9. Okay, makes sense? Let's try a different one. Okay, 14 plus 12. Very simple problem, but if someone gets confused with the rules, they get mixed up. Right? They hear a negative and a negative must be a positive, so then they think a positive and a positive must be a negative. Well, that doesn't make sense in real life. Okay? Think about it. If I have $14, right, and then later on I get $12, do I owe money or do I have money? Well, if I have and I have, that means I'm going to have a total of $26. Okay, because I have, so I have more. So 14 plus 12 is going to equal positive 26 because I have it. And then sometimes you get thrown off because you see a decimal, but it's the same thing. You're dealing with money. So this means I owe $6, and that 0.2 means 20 cents. and then I owe $4.70. Well, if I owe and I owe, we already know that means I'm going to owe more money. So let's just deal with the dollars. If I owe $6 and I owe another friend $4, that means I owe $10. And then let's do the cents. I owe 20 cents and I owe 70 cents. That means I owe 90 cents. So altogether my answer will be I owe negative $10.9. Okay? Pretty simple. Now these aren't integers, right? Because they're pieces of numbers, but we can still use the same common sense. So let's think about the different sign. And I'm going to kind of skip through this next little piece here. So try not to mind this soccer field here. I'm going to skip for the sake of time. Okay, so different signs will be the opposite. These are cases when you have money, but you also owe at the same time. And we can do these things with different things in real life. Say, for example, you have Instagram, and on Instagram today you have, say today you have 14 followers. Okay, since you have them, that's going to be a positive 14. And then, say the next day, you lose 12 followers. Okay, so if I set that up, that's 14 plus, since I lost them, it's negative. So you ask yourself, if I have 14 followers, then I lose 12 followers, do I have more or less? Well, because I lost some and they work against each other, I have less. And you got to ask yourself, how much less? Well, in this case, I still have 2 followers left. So that means 14 plus negative 2, I have them, so it must be positive, and I have 2 followers remaining. Okay? So if same sign made us get more of debt or more money, different sign means I'm going to get less of something. It's always going to work against each other and go down. Okay? So here's some examples of different signs. Negative 3 plus 6. So negative 3 means I owe $3. 6 means I have $6. So think about it. If you have $6 and you owe a friend $3, once you pay them back, will you have money left over? Yes. How much will you have left over? I will have, once I've given them that $3, I will still have $3 left. So since you have money left over, that means my answer will be positive, and then I have $3 left over. And notice the number went down. It went from 6 down to 3. The different signs may give you less. Okay? Let's try it with a different one. And we had students do this in class on their own, so I'll give you some time to see if you can figure this one out. Go ahead and figure out negative 14 plus 12. Right? Is that O have or have O? Well, we can see it's O and then you have money. So go ahead and see if you can figure out what the answer will be. Okay, so looking at the signs, do I owe more than what I have? Yes. I owe $14, but I only have 12 bucks. So, am I going to be able to pay my friend back fully? No. Once I give my friend $12, I will still owe them how much? Hopefully you guessed it, you'll still owe them $2. So the answer would be negative 2. And then lastly, just do this pretty quickly. I have $10, and yet I owe $4. So once I give that $4 away, will I still have money left over? Yes, because I have more than what I owe. I have $10, I only owe $4. So I will have money left over. So I know my answer should be positive. The question is, how much money do I have left over? And that would be, I have $6 left over. Okay? So that's, we went through more examples in class and went into more detail, but that's the gist of the lesson, so that if you're watching this, you won't get as far behind. Okay? If you have any other questions, just come see me at lunch or ask me after class or after school, and I have tutoring on Mondays. Thank you for watching. Nerd up. Nerd up.